Cowboys secure key front office leader, Will McClay with multi-year extension, boosting Brian Schottenheimer era. As Dallas Cowboys fans continue to process the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer as head coach, the franchise has made a move that may have an even greater long-term impact. While Schottenheimer's introduction was met with mixed reactions, he impressed in his press conference by outlining a plan to modernize the offense with more motion, shifting, and play action, something fans have been wanting for years. But while his ability to execute remains to be seen, the Cowboys have delivered a significant piece of good news that could set the foundation for his success. The team has officially secured Vice President of Player Personnel, Will McClay, on a multi-year contract extension, a move that many view as one of the best decisions the Cowboys have made in recent years. McClay, whose contract was set to expire in May after the 2025 NFL Draft, has been the architect behind Dallas' impressive roster building since taking over the scouting and personnel department in 2014. His track record speaks for itself. Under his leadership, the Cowboys have drafted 15 Pro Bowlers and 6 All-Pros, including future Hall of Famer Zach Martin and standout defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence. His eye for talent extends beyond just first-round picks, as he's found key contributors in later rounds, such as Dak Prescott, Deron Bland, and Osa Odigizua. McClay's ability to identify and develop talent is a major reason why the Cowboys have remained competitive, despite coaching inconsistencies and questionable front office decisions from Jerry and Stephen Jones. There was concern that McClay might finally leave, especially since he had serious interest from other teams last offseason. The Carolina Panthers wanted to make him their general manager, and the Washington Commanders sought to bring him in as their head of football operations. Letting McClay walk would have been a devastating loss for Dallas, setting the franchise back years. Instead, his extension ensures continuity in roster building and gives Schottenheimer the best possible foundation to succeed in his new role. While the Schottenheimer era remains uncertain, securing McClay is a massive win for the Cowboys. It guarantees that one of the NFL's top talent evaluators will continue shaping the team's future, which could be the key factor in determining whether Dallas can finally break through as a true championship contender. With McClay in charge of personnel and Schottenheimer looking to revamp the offense, the Cowboys may be positioning themselves for a new era of success. Troy Aikman predicts Super Bowl 59 will be a defensive battle between Chiefs and Eagles. As Super Bowl 59 approaches, NFL legend Troy Aikman has weighed in with his thoughts on the highly anticipated rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Despite both teams boasting star power on offense, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce for the Chiefs, Saquon Barkley leading the Eagles' dominant rushing attack, Aikman believes this game will be defined by defense rather than a high-scoring shootout. In a recent appearance on Sports Illustrated's SI Media with Jimmy Traynor, Aikman shared his perspective on the big game, stating that while Philadelphia has been impressive offensively, the key for them will be playing a clean, mistake-free game. He emphasized that both defenses have been outstanding and expects a more methodical battle rather than an offensive explosion. The numbers back up Aikman's prediction. The Eagles' defense was statistically one of the best in the NFL this season, leading the league by allowing just 278.4 yards per game, ranking first in passing defense, and giving up only 17.8 points per game. Meanwhile, the Chiefs' defense, while not as dominant on paper, has been effective at limiting opponents, allowing just 19.2 points per game and ranking in the top 10 in rushing defense, a crucial factor in their attempt to contain Barkley, who rushed for an incredible 2,005 yards during the regular season. On the other side, Kansas City's offense has been uncharacteristically average this year compared to past seasons. Mahomes and company ranked 17th in total yards per game, and until their AFC Championship win, they hadn't scored more than 30 points in a game all season. Yet, as always, they find ways to win when it matters most. Aikman, a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys, understands what it takes to win on the NFL's biggest stage. In the 1990s, he, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin led Dallas to 3 championships in 4 years, cementing themselves as one of the league's most dominant dynasties. Now, as he looks at Super Bowl 59, he sees a game that may not be flashy, but one that will come down to execution, discipline, and which defense can rise to the occasion. Super Bowl 59 is set to take place on Sunday, February 9th, in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the Chiefs and Eagles will battle once again for NFL supremacy. Whether Aikman's prediction holds true or not, one thing is certain. This game is shaping up to be a must-watch showdown. Cowboys rumored to target Arch Manning and Nick Saban, but is it realistic? The Dallas Cowboys have never been strangers to bold predictions and wild speculation, but former NFL quarterback Cam Newton may have just taken things to a new level. During an appearance on ESPN's First Take, Newton put forth a theory that the Cowboys are not actually committed to new head coach Brian Schottenheimer long-term, but rather positioning themselves for a major shakeup involving college football legends Arch Manning and Nick Saban. Newton's argument is that Schottenheimer, who was recently hired to replace Mike McCarthy, is merely a placeholder. He believes the Cowboys are setting themselves up for a tanking season to secure the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, which they would use to select Arch Manning, the highly touted quarterback prospect from the University of Texas. But Newton didn't stop there. He also suggested that Jerry Jones could make an offer to bring Nick Saban out of retirement to take over as head coach. "I think they're tanking for Arch," Newton said. "Make it make sense. Coach Schottenheimer has one and done written all over him. You get the first pick of the draft, and then Jerry Jones, being the businessman that he is, goes into his Don Corleone mentality and gives Saban a deal he can't refuse." While this is certainly a headline-grabbing take, the reality of this theory is questionable at best. First, there is no indication that the Cowboys are planning to tank. The organization has made it clear that Schottenheimer is their guy, and he was hired in part because of his familiarity with the team and its system. Dallas may have had a disappointing end to last season, but deliberately losing to land a quarterback, even one as promising as Manning, goes against everything we've seen from Jerry and Stephen Jones over the years. Secondly, Nick Saban has shown no desire to return to coaching after stepping away from Alabama. Instead, he has transitioned smoothly into a media career, which appears to be a far more appealing path for him at this stage of his life. Leaving a comfortable television job to take on one of the most high-pressure roles in professional sports doesn't seem likely for a coach who has already cemented his legacy. The idea of Arch Manning in a Cowboys uniform is intriguing, but it's also highly improbable. For this scenario to even have a chance of unfolding, Dallas would need to have the worst record in the NFL next season, something that seems highly unlikely given the talent still on the roster. Even if Manning stays at Texas for just one season, there's no guarantee he would even be the consensus number 1 pick when he declares for the draft. While Newton's theory makes for great TV, it simply doesn't align with how the Cowboys operate. The team is focused on winning now, not tearing everything down for a long-shot rebuild. Schottenheimer has been given the opportunity to prove himself, and despite the skepticism surrounding his hire, Dallas appears committed to making the most out of the Dak Prescott era rather than scrapping everything for an uncertain future.